All right, daryl live coming to you from Southern California here. Happy October 31st, 2018, 4:03 in the afternoon. All right, I want to do a quick video here on Trump sending up to 15,000 troops to the border. This is hot off the press. October 31st right now, yahoo.com. Trump says U.S. could send up to 15,000 troops to the border. I think this is going to escalate and keep escalating. What? Well, I think the countries, especially through Mexico and Mexico included, will continue to ramp up people coming from other parts of the world through Mexico into the U.S. or trying to get there. I think it's going to get worse. I think it's going to escalate. And Trump, I think, feels the same way because he's saying, man, I'm going to send up to 15,000 troops and maybe more. Trump says the U.S. could send up to 15,000 troops to the border. So this is a far cry from, 800, 1,000, 1,500 they said they were going to send. Now it's 15,000. I think the deep state, the New World Order, is going to milk this cow. What are you talking about? Well, look at some of the other headlines right here. Here's one. Trump ain't playing around. Video shows hundreds of military vehicles being shipped to the border. Here's another one. That's from InfoWars. Here's one from the Washington Times. Total immigration to U.S. ties all-time record. Then you throw in articles like this from channelnewsasia.com. Millions in Mexico City set to go without water for days. I thought, what? Is that very strange timing or what? Mexico City. Millions of people in Mexico City are set to be without water for at least 4 days as authorities undertake maintenance work on one of the major supply systems. I thought, is this just normal maintenance? Or is there something going to happen in Mexico and beyond to cause immigration to flood the states in which no army can stop? I think that's going to happen. Yeah. Half of the capital's 8 million population are expected to be affected. Hello. 5 million people, with a further 3 million people from the neighboring state of Mexico also impacted. Wow. Authorities are preparing for the huge challenge by employing tanker trucks to supply strategic areas such as schools, hospitals, and prisons. Mexico City is one of the largest metropolitan areas in the world. Metropolises, you probably could say, in the world. Largest in the world. The supply cut is due to start on Wednesday and last until Saturday. I thought, okay, could be, maintenance, or is it? Or is there a plan? Is the Vatican, is the deep state, the New World Order planning to cause such havoc, such turmoil in Mexico that no amount of military is going to stop the influx, maybe, of millions of people across the southern border, the U.S. southern border from Mexico? All right. I don't see the deep state. I don't see the New World Order stopping anytime soon. I think they're going to try to pull this, that, and all these shenanigans in Mexico to try to cause an influx, an exodus, to screw with Trump and this economy and the election. Sure. And listen, if the midterm elections go toward Trump, it's going to make the beast, the dragon, 100-fold more angry. Yeah. And I think we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg right now. Yeah. This may not be connected, but I think it's like a prophecy. It's like writing on the wall. It's like a sign of things to come here in this lack of water in Mexico City. I thought, what the? Mexico City is one of the largest metropolises in the world. The supply cut is due to start Wednesday to Saturday, although the system won't return to full capacity till November 8th. It just becomes more weird the more I read it. Maintenance will be carried out on the Cutzamala engineering works that provide part of the city's water supply. Blah, 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 blah. Authorities have asked citizens to save water and only use it in moderation during the shortage days. Those with economic means should buy disposable dishes and cups, take care of the water usage. We should not exaggerate the sense of crises or catastrophe. We must simply prepare ourselves. What are you talking about? Now, of course, they're going to talk about the Itzapalapa neighborhood, one of the poorest in Mexico, with a population of 1.8 million, is the worst affected by shortages, and many of its citizens are used to receiving their supplies from tanker trucks. All right, so they're just trying to put it in a proportion here. And I thought, no, is it? Why is this information coming out right now? I've never seen an article like this before. It's not confined to that area either. One of the 2.5 million homes in the city, almost 569,000 don't receive water on a daily basis, while 45,000 have no running water at all. Mexico City's water tables, built on the swamps of the old Aztec capital, Tenochtitlan, have been exploited for decades, causing certain areas of the city to sink by between 2 and 30 centimeters a year. Some estimates also claim that 40% of the city's water is lost in leaks. You know, all you have to do, all the deep state has to do is screw with their water supply in Mexico, which is teetering right now on the brink of collapse. Yeah, why is it that Mexico, people always talk about going to Mexico, don't drink the water. Why is it that Mexico can't have clean water? Why can't Mexico have the best water in the world? Yeah, I mean, hello? You're connected to the U.S., baby. You should have the best water in the world. I'm not saying the U.S. does, but I'm saying this ecosystem, this water system is like in tatters right now. It wouldn't take much for the deep state to screw with millions of people through their water supply and cause them and force them to run north. Man, you don't have water. It sounds like the children of Israel in the desert. We need water. Barring a miracle from billions of gallons of water gushing out of a rock like Moses had, people are going to Exodus. What if this is part of the New World Order's plan? To screw with their water, to do some kind of crazy false flags, which where governments attack their own people to cause them to do what they want them to do. Now, if the government is run by the Vatican, which I believe the Mexican government is, and most of their politicians, how hard would it be for Mexico to push their people north? Yeah. How are you going to stop 500,000 people? How are you going to stop 50,000 people? How are you going to stop 1 million people exiting? Right? Or more. What would they do? What would Trump do? I think I did a video yesterday called Tent Cities. Yesterday, if you look at my YouTube channel from my links at daryl.lawson.com, I talked about Trump to set up immigration tent cities or concentration camps. Nearly 2,000 people have already watched it. What do you do? Okay. With 4,000, 3,000, 1,500, 5,000, whatever. You try to process them. But I think there's 750,000 immigration cases that are clogging up the courts right now. What happens if the plan is, and I wouldn't put it past the New World Order for doing this. I personally think that's what they're up to. I think this is in the cards. I am predicting that these caravans will get bigger and bigger and bigger and maybe even overnight. From 1,500, 2,000 to 4,000 to maybe 500,000. Maybe millions. Yeah, I've been saying this for years. I've done videos where I've seen visions and dreams of things happening in Mexico causing great exodus. Yeah. If I type in here, let me see, YouTube video, Daryl Lawson, Mexico border. Let me see here. Red Sky, I think I called. Yeah. August 14th, 2011. right? So you're looking at about 7 years ago, right? Just over 7 years. I had seen visions and dreams of mass exodus of people, exoduses, whatever, of people coming from Mexico into the U.S. And the troops I saw on the border, American troops on the border with guns and everything, couldn't stop them. Oh yeah, they'd hold a few people here, but for every person that was stopped, 100, 1,000 went by. And I'm saying, Daryl, why did you see that? I don't know why I saw it. The Lord showed me things to come. When the Spirit of truth comes into your life, He will show you things to come. Yeah. Red sky warning, I called it. False flag attack, California. This is from August 14th, 2011. Right? And I think I did another video right after that one. You can see it on my YouTube channel, where for, I think, 2 consecutive nights, I saw immigration breaking down at the border, at the U.S.-Mexican border. And I always thought, what is that? What is that? And now, with these caravans and this strategy, I think it's a strategy. I think it's a New World Order strategy to cause the immigration to just break down in the U.S. If Trump doesn't want open borders, and Trump wants to bring troops to the borders, which he is, look what he's saying. Yahoo.com. This is mirrored from Reuters. U.S. President Trump said today, Halloween, the United States could send as many as 15,000 troops to the border with Mexico as he hardens his stance against the caravan of immigrants fleeing violence and poverty in Central America. You know, it's been taking, well, it should take about another month or so. Maybe a month and a half or 2 months, because they're being, some of them are walking, some of them are being transported. It's no easy task. But what happens if that's not good enough for the deep state? Oh yeah, Trump's going to bring 50,000 troops. We're going to bring 500,000 people across the border. Trump says he could send as many as 15,000 troops to the border with Mexico as he hardens his stance against the caravan of immigrants. As far as the caravan is concerned, quote, our military is out there. We'll go up to anywhere between 10 and 15,000 military personnel on top of the Border Patrol and ICE and everybody else at the border. Trump told reporters at the White House, in your face. The Trump administration put the number of troops it aimed to send to the border at over 5,200, but he's going now at 10 to 15,000. That's what he says, if needed. Trump has sought to use immigration as an issue to motivate Republican voters ahead of the November 6th election next week, where Republicans will seek to maintain control on both congressional chambers. Right? Yeah. Okay. House and the Senate. As a presidential candidate before the U.S. election in 2016, Trump promised to harden immigration laws and build a wall along the southern border with Mexico, which will take years, by the way. Implementation of his signature campaign promise has been slow, of course. A caravan of Central American immigrants, well, I don't think it's just from Central America, it's from all over. Estimated to be between 3,500, etc. People are left Honduras in mid-October. So this is a slower process. And is now in southern Mexico on its way to the U.S. border. They haven't been stopped. And that's only 3,500. What happens if the New World Order is coming up with their ideas? Man, this is way too slow. We need thousands. We need hundreds of thousands. We need millions of people to cross the border. I predict that's what they're going to try to do. That's what they're going to do. Yeah, that's what I predict. It's now in southern Mexico on its way to the U.S. border. In a month and a half or whatever to get there, depending how fast they go. Trump's tough response to the caravan has been an issue in the congressional elections. Democrats accuse the president of stoking fears of illegal immigration to help Republicans win votes. It's like children playing in the sandbox. The Pentagon has said it has identified about 7,000 active duty troops, including about 2,000 on standby that could be deployed to the southern border. So you got about 9,000 right there. The Defense Department has not said what the scope of this mission will be or its assessment of any threat posed by the immigrants. Okay, so what are they going to do? Right, you have your guns. What are you going to do? Shoot them? I don't think so. I think that would be a political nightmare. Now there's articles coming out saying that the caravan has bombs and guns. Do they? Oh, they probably have guns. Yeah. They have been probably given guns. Yeah. They're being paid to march. But I don't think it's fast enough for the New World Order. I really, really, really don't think it's fast enough. I think the New World Order wants overdrive. And they're coming up with ideas, I believe, even right now, to cause hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of people coming through the Mexican north border into the U.S. Mexico's U.S. border. Flood. Why not? Why? Because the deep state wants that. They want to ensure their votes coming in. Now, I don't think they're next week. There's no time for these votes for the midterm elections. But what about 2020? I mean, what Barbara Streisand came out, I think, today saying she's moving to Canada if the Democrats lose the midterm elections. Well, that's what the actors and actresses and singers always say. But I haven't heard one person move out of the country yet to Canada from the U.S. because they promised they would if Trump became president, but they haven't. Streisand is saying Trump's making her fat. Why? Because I guess she's stress eating. I don't know. You don't have to worry about Trump, people. It's not Trump you have to be concerned about. Yeah. And here's one from InfoWars. Trump ain't playing. Video shows hundreds. I'll put the links up here under this video after I upload this. Video shows hundreds of military vehicles being shipped to the border. Footage of a train heading southbound, reportedly captured in Arizona. Looking at the Jeeps, you're looking at tanks. A video posted to Twitter Tuesday showed a shipment of hundreds of military vehicles reportedly being sent to the U.S. border in anticipation of a showdown with Migrant Caravan, currently headed to the U.S. Now, this is kind of a perfect storm for the deep state, you could say, because they are coming, marching, and for a government to use tanks on them would be something like China. And, and Tiananmen, what that square they had there, running over people. I don't think people have seen this before, but at least not in many, maybe in when the U.S. was being, formed. But not in recent history. This is something new, and it's because a new president who's not part of the secret societies, Donald Trump, was elected and brought into power and wrecked the deep state's plans for the president's agenda. My, oh my, what a beautiful day. Here's one from Twitter. Train in Arizona recently heading southbound. Trump ain't playing. There's the picture. I'll put it up. I might even put that as my profile pic. Now, who can verify that? I don't know. Not yet, anyways. Train in Arizona recently heading southbound. Here is part 2 of the train traveling through Arizona. I'll put the link up here. The footage comes as President Trump announced he would be sending 5,200 troops to strengthen border security after reports that the caravan, now it's 14,000 immigrants, made up of mostly Hondurans, is continually making its way toward the U.S. border. Now it's 15,000. 14,000. Yeah, whatever. And like I said, that Washington Times, total immigration to U.S. ties all-time record. And it's not that just people want to come to the U.S. I think this is a concentrated effort. And what do you do with people? Say they don't have any water. Say there's a natural or a man-made natural disaster or a false flag event or someone screws with the water system in Mexico. That would be so simple for the government to do something like that against its own people to cause a mass exodus. Boom. You're not talking about Honduras now. You're talking about stuff in Mexico happening to bring people across the border by the hundreds of thousands, maybe millions. What would that do? I don't know. There would be people everywhere, and there would be tent cities. There would be military sent to corral these people. There would be miles and miles and miles and miles and miles and miles, and the people would be dispersed. Where would they go? They have children walking. Where would they get? Where? Mexico is right there. The northern Mexican border with the U.S. is right there, right at in San Diego. San Diego would be flooded with people. But what they do? Well, there's lots of land in California. They would just round these people up. And like I said, this is kind of like part 2 from yesterday. Trump to set up immigration tent cities or concentration camps. You have to watch that video. I don't think Trump has a bad heart. I think Trump has a good heart. He's just trying to figure out what to do. If he does nothing, they'll be upset with him. If he does something, they'll be upset with him. So he's damned if he does, in some people's eyes, and damned if he doesn't. So he's trying to figure out what to do. On the fly, he's trying to figure out what to do. What do you do? The border wall's not ready. There's only some kind of walls up there, but it's really porous. You can come in from a lot of different areas. Now, and there's tunnels underneath, etc., etc. It would just take one spark, one match on this haystack to cause millions of people to flood into the U.S., and nobody could stop it. Yeah, I put some scriptures here as I was thinking about this. Revelation chapter 12, verse 7. And there was war in heaven. I thought for all places to have war, heaven wouldn't be one of them. But yet, the Bible says in Revelation chapter 12, verse 7, there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels, the good angels, fought against the dragon, the fallen angel Lucifer. The dragon fought and his angels. There's 2 camps. And they're always fighting. They're always fighting each other. And that spills over into the earth through humans. In the spiritual realm and into the physical realm. Revelation, that was 12, verse 7. In Revelation 19:11, I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. This is Jesus. And in righteousness he does judge and make war. There's always war. There's war. There's been war for 6,000 years back to Adam and Eve. And you think that just because Trump is president, they're not going to try to do something with these evil spirits using humans as their pawns? Colossians 1:13, who, God, Jesus, has delivered us from the power of darkness. It's real. Has translated us into the kingdom of his dear son. Are you in the kingdom of darkness or the kingdom of God's dear son? I said yesterday, immigration should be, hey, you want to come to this country? Get born again, get spirit filled, do the Bible, and come into the country. Mark 6:34, Jesus saw the huge crowd. As he stepped from the boat, and he had compassion on them because they were like sheep without a shepherd. They're pawns. So he began teaching them many things. Well, if that happens, which I think there's a high probability that this great exodus is just at the tip of the iceberg. Yeah, from 5,000 to maybe 500,000, maybe to 5 million or more. Yeah. They are like sheep without a shepherd. And Jesus began teaching them many things. Now, people can be taught good things. I think can be taught evil things. I think what's going on right now is that they're being set up by the deep state and being paid. And a lot of these people are trying to go to the U.S. for wrong motives. Now, if water supplies and other things are attacked in Mexico, and people will definitely, on the spur of the moment, you can't live very many days without water. You want to talk about people rushing to the border? It's either get into the U.S. and get water, or die. Yeah, what would you do? How are you going to stop that? The system's already on the brink of disaster as it is. It wouldn't take much. Matthew 25:32. All the nations will be gathered together. Big groups. Big crowds in his presence. He will separate the people as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. This is Jesus at the end time. When he returns. He will place the sheep at his right hand and the goats at his left. Verse 34. The king will say to those on his right, come, who are blessed of my Father. Inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the creation of the world. Wow. Hello. Then verse 41. This is talk about immigration. I'll post and put. Pust. I'll put this in the links. And the king will turn to those on his left and say, away with you. Well, that's not very nice. You cursed ones into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his demons. What? Talk about tough immigration. That's Jesus' immigration, yeah. And he's separating the people right here, verse 32. All nations are gathered in his presence, and he will separate the people. That has to be done. How is it going to be done? If this happens, I don't know. Trump's going to, Trump's the one for the job, though. Now, of course, this is talking about Matthew 25, the end of the age when Jesus comes back and separates the good from the bad, the ugly. And those that are born again, spirit-filled, that want to obey him, and that do obey him, and those that are. Now, I said, what? What do you do, Daryl? This is bad news? Well, this is just news. And we just need to keep praying. I do think this will probably happen in the very near future, because it's starting to happen already. It's like cracks in the dam. I think this is just the beginning. I think the dam will eventually crack sooner than later. And we're not going to see, 1,500, 3,000 people, 2,000. We're going to be seeing 50, 100, maybe millions of people across the border. And I'd have to say probably they're going to probably try this in the near future. The deep state. Yeah. Well, what about the new government? What about the new government? Listen, 99.9% of all government people that are placed in position are okayed and placed there by the Vatican and the Jesuits who run the New World Order. And if you don't do what the New World Order wants you to do, they get rid of you. Yeah. So we shall see. Prayer will definitely expose it and hinder it. But I'm not putting it out or taking it off the table, that what the New World Order might do in the next 2 years or sooner. Or definitely if Trump gets in again in 2020 in the next 6 years. Because if there is a huge swing against the Democrats in this midterm elections and Trump gets elected in 2020, the New World Order is going to have an ape. They're going to freak out. The Democrats, the deep state, are going to, their heads are going to spin like The Exorcist. And I would have to say that they're going to try to sabotage Trump's presidency. And of course they want to do it in the midterm elections, but that's next week. But still, they want it. And definitely they want to sabotage the presidential 2020 election against Trump. To force his hand, to see what he's going to do. Hopefully he makes a mistake. Yeah. And if he happens to win in 2020, then they're going to try to bring hell for the next 4 years against Trump. But if God be for you, who can be against you? Doesn't mean that they won't try. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord will deliver you out of them all if you're righteous in Christ. That means you're born again, spirit-filled. Jesus washed my sins away. Fill them with your Holy Spirit. Get in the Bible and do it. That's the way to do it. That's the way to be prepared. All right, find all this information and more. Pass the video to other people just to keep you thinking. Think. Put your thinking caps on. And pray. Think, pray. Verse the other day I was reading the Bible. Jesus told the people to watch and pray. Watch what's going on. Keep your eyes open. Because listen, it's not about the Mexican people. It's not about the Honduran people. It's about the good versus evil. And there's good and evil in every country on the planet. Which side are you on? Get born again, get spirit-filled. Stay born again, stay spirit-filled. Get in the Bible and do it. And watch my videos to help you go forward. Learn what to do and what not to do. Be the head, not the tail. Only above, not beneath. Blessed coming in and going out. And we got to be praying for all people on the earth that they come to Jesus. That's the answer. That's the answer. The real answer in everyone's life. That everybody comes to Jesus. That everybody starts hearing and doing God's word. Because then the golden rule will be everywhere. Love God and love your neighbor as yourself. Right? Yeah. And of course, the more born-again, spiritual Christians there are on the earth, the greater the resistance against evil on the earth is. Because God works through people, and so does the devil. Which side are you on? DarylLawson.com is my website, DarylLawsonLive.com. Both work, and we'll get you to all my information, my links, my videos, my information that I'm talking about today, and more. All right, pass it on to other people. Take a quick break here, come back and do another show. Don't forget, I have thousands of videos, over 3,000 videos with all my YouTube videos, my Facebook videos, and all my links, and my other videos on BitChute and Real Video, which is now, I think it's called Brighteon. They changed the name from Real Videos. That's naturalnews.com's alternative to YouTube. Yep. It was called, what do they call it? Real Video. Then they changed the name for, I guess, legal sense to Brighteon.com. But if you click on my link to Real Videos, it'll automatically get you to Brighteon. It's all about saving the names, yeah. For the future and less paperwork, this, that, and that. All right, so you can see my stuff and more at daryllawson.com. Pass it on to other people, and I will see you in my next video. All right, don't forget there's a donation button on my website. Donations are of God. Tithing is in the Bible, Old and New Testament, my friend. Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 to 12. So I appreciate all your prayers and financial support. All right, God bless you. I love you. Keep up the good work. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.